All right, let's go ahead and get started for today. So we're going to start off with date functions, and I'm just going to install the entire thing like this and see if it tree shakes. We can always come back to this later if we have a problem with our bundle being too big and optimize it. And now we don't even need to install day.js. I guess we'll just use date functions. So I'm going to remove day.js. I already removed the humanize library that I was looking at a later date, or that I was looking at earlier today. And let's grab you. By humanize. Alright. So this is going to be the diff. Alright, so we're going to call that function, and the two dates that we're going to pass in is the current date. So we're going to say new date. Okay, yeah. New date, because this is going to be the latest date it looks like. And then we need to pass in new date in our create at. And I'm not sure if I can just pass in an ISO date like this to the date object and it'll be the right thing. So we'll have to check if that looks correct. Is there anything you can do over what you could do with styled components? So with rebase, or I keep calling it rebase, it's really rebase, I think. Is I actually use it with styled components. It was built on top of styled components, and so you use it with it. So you can actually, here's what it looks like to extend it. And so you actually can use styled components with it, and so styled, and then use their box primitive, and then add styles on top. Date functions wants epoch/Unix time. So we're not directly even past. So like we're passing a date in. So we are dealing with the JavaScript date API with parsing this. So it's whatever they want. I can use date.parse. Awesome. Thank you, Alien Eyes. Let's see what it says. Date is not assignable to parent or type string. Oh yes, because this should be really a string here. Just have my type wrong. Alright, so it's still thinking we're using humanize, so we need to make sure this rebuilds. Line 17. Did I break this? We'll rewatch that real quick. Alright. The expected type comes from property created at, which is declared here on the type intrinsic. So this is a straight warning. Create act. Oh, because I was passing a date into created at. Okay. Alright, so awesome, guys. So now we have this little date here. So that looks like it worked correctly, because I feel like I made these 3 hours, 6 hours ago. And I guess we want to just put the word ago at the end. Like 3 hours ago, 6 hours ago. All right, nice. So that's the first thing that I wanted to do. So that was pretty easy. So let's just commit our code real quick. So we have human readable durations. All right, so also where we left off last, we have these cards that are like expanding the whole screen, and so they're way too long. So a few things we played with is like putting this underneath and we have a new design which I'm going to try, which came from Beepo at the end, where we have kind of like a sidebar so that these don't get too long. Oh, you like the new design? Yeah, so Beepo helped us create this and set this up. And so what we're thinking is like the content for this is now a title that the user picks. And so like I wrote this title, and then you can see the link to the repo. And so when I click on this, what's going to happen is it actually just takes you to the repo page. And then what I'm thinking here is we'll then have the questions below, and you can see where the questions are coming from. All right, so it needs more spacing. Hey, Beepo. We need more spacing between things, though. What spacing would you like? This part we're gonna change right now. We're gonna be changing it so it looks like this. So let's get started with that. So really, just our row is gonna change a little bit. So I called this thing post row is what we're gonna deal with first. All right, so we're gonna have our title at the top now. Do you know if there's a way to use emit but for React components? I feel like you probably can, because I feel like with emit you can type like arbitrary components in. So I think you can. I feel like you probably want like the only thing is like with emit it helps you like automate creating a bunch of things. I feel like in React I would just probably map through it a lot of times. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So the way I'm looking at with this mockup, it looks like we're gonna have a div here, and a div here. So it's gonna be a three divs stacked on top of each other. All right, so to accomplish that, I don't think I need to have. We're gonna have this avatar thing on the left as well. So this is gonna be a box, and this is gonna be a box, and then the whole inside is gonna be flexed, and then we're gonna have a div on this other side. So what are we currently looking at? So currently we have basically this 3 stack, and then this thing's on the left all the way over there. So I can move this in pretty easily. Yeah, I don't think I really know how to do that. I think you can pass an add suffix true, and you can see uh, without needing to hard code it. What do you mean? Pass add suffix where? All right, so we're gonna have the title on the very top. And then we're gonna have the repo name, and then there's a dot, and then it's the date string. So there's a dot, and then there's this DT string. All right, so I think I can. I don't know if this should be a like a Unicode thing, or if I should actually just render this as like a span tag or something. Copy as SVG or copy as CSS. Can we get an SVG? It's a Unicode thing. This might be a cheat, but I usually bring in the Bootstrap columns layout CSS to get columns that are responsive like that. Is that a major cheat? I mean, I don't call it a cheat. I wouldn't mind using stuff like that. I think it's very easy to add CSS grid these days, though, so that's pretty much what I do. Reason being is like I can set it up pretty quickly, and You can set it up pretty quickly, and then you don't have to load all of Bootstrap just for that. If you want to use Bootstrap for other stuff, though, I think that's fine. All right. And then we got our tags below. So that looks roughly the same, at least layout style. So now the avatar starts at the top, and okay, our avatar is starting at the top too. Also, I think one final suggestion that I didn't realize because I was thinking of these as individual cards, but you might want to make the post just one card and separate them with a light gray border. I mean, for the date thing, you don't have to hard-code the word ago. Oh, I see. That's good. Add suffix, true. Nice. Thank you, Kappa. And I guess they'll handle, like, if a go would be awkward in any place. That's nice. Bum, bum, bum. All right, I put a curly brace there. All right, so so you think kind of like smash them all together and then put like lines in between them to separate them. I think that makes sense for what we're doing. All right, 4 hours ago. Nice. Okay, so a go is now appeared. Cool. So this is blue. So let's see. I guess I can try changing that. I also want to reopen up Reddit. So what I was wondering is if I hover over this, if they put like an underline, and they don't. They have like a color to it. I wonder if us having this blue is bad. Okay, so I think let's smash these together then. And then we'll worry about spacing these out nicely, because I think this needs a little spacing. And I guess we can also see this is going to be a certain width with a sidebar there too. Alright, so I guess one thing that's going to happen is if these are all together now, I would get rid of the box shadow is one thing. And so these just drop down. And then we get rid of the spacing between them, which is over here. All right, so now they're kind of like one blob together. I think well, we're gonna have only a border radius on the bottom, right? So tell me if this is what you're thinking, because you may be thinking a different thing that I thought you were thinking. Yeah, a border bottom was what I was thinking as well. So border radius, border bottom. Oh wait, it'd just be border. Oh, can I do a border bottom with a card? I don't know if I can. So what I can do is I can just say const border card is equal to styled card, and then I'm going to say border bottom 1 pixel solid. I don't know what color I want, so I'm just going to pick black so I can see if the syntax works. Uppercase C. And let's see. Border card. Yeah, you can do border bottom with rebas. It didn't look like it was showing up. I didn't know if I was doing it wrong, if the prop is not on it. Let me just see if it just didn't autocomplete, because that sometimes happens. It says the border bottom does not exist on the card type. let's just see if this is doing what I think it's doing. Also, I think I can get rid of the border radius on this. All right, border bottom 1 pixel. By the way, am I doing this the right way? Oh, with border, I could have said 0, 0, 1 pixel. Okay, that's good to know. 5 pixel solid red. 1 pixel solid. All right. So let's see why this is not showing up here. Oh, I think this card just has not been, I think it just hasn't been rebuilt. I think the code is just old. If I refresh. Alright, I'm just going to restart Next.js. The underline over the hover is more of an old web standard for links. Now that people have mobile, you're right, actually, on mobile you can't even have like a hover thing. I see what you mean. Alright, now that I started Next.js, see if it shows up. Okay, so there we have these borders. Let's pick one of our neutral colors. Can I pass in background border color? I can. Alright, I think I just want to do it here because then I can say neutrals. Let's pick like the second one, border, and then let's do it Francis recommended. And then we don't need a border card at all. So card. And let's see if that shows up. And then I think we want to add the rounded edges in like a container. Use a really light color like either light blue or gray. Okay. Am I using Next.js? I am. Where was I? Post up here. Border width. Ah, dang, doesn't look like border width is on that, so maybe I need to go back to my thingy. What I can do is I can say border width here and then set the color down here. You need to set stuff like focus anyway for accessibility, so just set the hover styles at the same time. Okay. Alright, so border width. So I can't tell if this didn't work or if Next.js just hasn't picked it up. Any downsides working with Next.js? So far, the only downside that I've been encountering is development-wise, the awkward thing has been my package over here. This is just a Yarn workspace like mono repo problem, but my code rebuilds and Next.js doesn't always pick up on it, and so I'll have to restart it. And then so basically I just will second guess myself whether or not oh, I think I need to do border style solid, yeah, on that as well. I second guess myself. I'm like, is my code wrong, or is Next.js just need a restart? All right, so let's do much lighter. So I think if I go up, we get lighter. Too light, guys? I think it's a little too light, that one. Now, is this one too dark? I'm gonna add a box shadow over here though. Let's see. Do I have something wrapping this entire thing? No, I don't. So let's add a div around this. And we'll say div here. There we go. Let's grab the box shadow. And then also border radius. I think it was 5 pixels. Yeah. And so my hope with this is that we get like okay, this is rounded, this one's pointy. So I think that's going to be a problem. Garogat, hello. Front end seems so simple at first glance, but I think it's actually more complicated than back end. So much you have to do and think about. Server-side rendering, ALs, it's much harder. They're beautiful in different ways. As a front end person, I still think back end is harder, not only because I'm more familiar with front end, but also just objectively there's a lot more to think about. I don't know. I'm like I do both sides, and for me, I think front end is more work, but that's also because I'm more of a back end guy. So I think I need to add like rounded corners to this. So let's go to the post row, and I only want to add a rounded corner to the first one and the last one, because I don't want these to be rounded. I've always been impressed of how clean Vue.js is structured when seeing React. Have you tried it? I have not tried Vue. Ah, great idea, Kappa. So yeah, that's what I was wondering. I just added a container, and that's what I was like. I wasn't sure how to do that, so I should add some padding. Okay, but with okay, Kappa, my question is, so like here's my container, and then I have my cards inside. So with my container here, let's say we add a padding. So I can easily change the color so it matches. That's easy. How should I handle that if I'm adding padding? So I think I need to add rounded corners to this thing as well. To the card. Or is there a way that I can get that to work easily? No, what you need to do is make the container of the posts a card. Hey Ben, still coding? I am. Then you don't have to do anything to the individual posts. Don't you want to render each cards into a component of their own? Each card is a component of their own. So each post doesn't need a background border radius, just the container does. Okay, I think I see what you're saying. So now I want to. So then is the line. So if I get rid of the radius here, or not the radius, but the border bottom here, are you thinking it should be row? Then I render a div, which is a line, instead of doing and doing it like that to create the line. Yeah, Iris, we can add a border radius to these thingies. That's one option. Okay, but the thing is, okay, I still need to add border radius to these cards though, right? Because if I don't add a border radius, we're still gonna get this effect. I agree that we don't need a background because we can pick up in the background of the other one. So we can get rid of the BG and we can set that over here easily. This is kind of mixing. Also, this is a little sketchy that I'm putting all these styles right here. So I might create this as like a container component in the UI packages at some point. No, you don't. If they're in the container and the container has a white background, it'll be fine. Okay, well, let's try it. Let's see what happens. I think we're gonna have a problem with the border radiuses maybe. All right, so I got rid of. Oh, that's actually looking nice. What am I talking? Oh, you're right. I see how this works. So like when it's inside of this container, it takes on that color, but when it's outside, so there's a small bit that's outside and it's taking on the color of the background. That's why I removed the background color of the cards there. Okay, I get it now. Does style components let you use selectors like first child and last child? Yes, it does. So in styled components, what you do is you go like this, ampersand, and this basically stands for the class name for this. And I can be like hover, or I could do focus, and you put all your styles here. So on focus, I want my border style to be something else, right? So you can do it any of those. All right, nice. So now we have like the big card, and they're connected. And let's just see. It looks like all the borders look good now. All right, so let's just verify that the spacing looks similar to what we want. So it looks like we have about 12. Let's see what our padding's at right now. So padding Y is 0.6, which is going to be 16. It's about 10. We can increase it to like 12 or 16.75. All right, so we're at 0.75 here. This is going to be 8. So it's going to be half a pixel px. Actually, no, this is the wrong thing. So padding left is going to be 0.5. Don't need a padding right on this anymore. In the x direction, we have a padding of 12, so 0.75 there. So we can collapse this to just p. All right. All right, so there's like basically they're right up next to each other. These tags look kind of fat. I think that's because they are getting flexed. So I'm going to say flex Zero, zero auto? No. Justify content center. Align items. Start. Am I rendering? Am I rendering these tags anywhere else? I feel like they look fat here than they normally look. I'm not sure if it's because they're getting flex or this is what the default tag looks like. Still on the UI, how much time? Um, I have no, yeah, as much time as needed. UI, a good UI is important. Rebass actually kind of reminds me a wee bit of Tailwind. I haven't used Tailwind, but it looks like it's similar-ish, where you kind of have those small utility that you pass in. Like, but instead of doing CSS classes, you're passing in stuff like this. Tailwind may be more advanced though. I haven't used it. I have it in Storybook, so I can actually see what it looks like over here. See, look, the tags actually look reasonable here and not just like fat. I don't know why they just look randomly fat there. So here they are 20 pixels. Here they're 17. So they're shaved 3 pixels off the side or top and bottom for some reason. They look good fat. I think I like the looks of them here a little bit better than I do like the looks of them here. Also, is this... I feel like this got pointy again. Did I mess something up? Let me make the border radius more prominent to see if I messed something up. Yeah, I messed something up. It's not displaying it here. Oh wait, the background color showed up again? Okay, so for some reason the background color just showed up, even though I believe it's removed. Like, I'm not setting the background color on border, yet it was set to white. It's so weird. Ben, how do you like Storybook? Are you getting big wins from it? No, we're definitely not getting big wins from it. So far it's just been kind of meh. For whatever reason, I constantly break it. Like it goes like snail pace sometimes when I add some libraries. The other thing is I haven't done a good job maintaining it. Like, look how janky it looks here. So I just haven't done a good job of maintaining it. And like, now and then if I want to develop the component out, it's nice. But I basically don't want to like upkeep the components. I've been lazy with this Storybook basically, is what's going on. Overall, it's been okay. I think it's better for something where you're working in a bigger team rather than just kind of by yourself. It's nice to see all the components, but yeah. Okay, so this is back. Awesome. So okay, I just want to play with the CSS a little bit and see if I can see why it's acting weird. Because I'm not quite sure. We have a div just around this button that may be messing stuff up. And I feel like I can get rid of display flex there. So let's try some things. Gonna get rid of that. And I'm gonna get rid of the flex here. And we'll see if this works. But Ben, you should think like you're working in a big team. Why? All right, let's wrap this in a div. Okay, I got rid of the wrong thing. I was like, why did I mess up everything? I didn't think it was. It's because I messed up the wrong thing. That's right. This one I don't need to display flex, I think. All right. We have a margin left of 10 pixels on this. Where is that coming from? If it's not the first child, add 10 pixels. Oh, that actually kind of makes sense. Oh, it's called GetLens. This thing where you can see who coded it. And yeah, it's called GetLens. It's for Git. How come you're using a iMac over an external monitor for your laptop? Basically, my laptop got too slow. It has only 8 gigabytes of memory, and so I wanted to upgrade to 32 gigabytes, which is what this has. And so it was between getting an iMac and getting a maxed out, basically a laptop. And basically iMacs were just a better price, so I went with an iMac for now. But I might just like also get a laptop at some point. For stuff like this, it's easier to just say margin right instead of margin left, and then do last child, but either way it works. I'm not sure where he added that. I don't mind changing it. Because, well, we do need to change it. Alright, I found it. Do you type your styled components? Like add TypeScript types to them? I do if I have custom props that I want to pass in. Alright, it's easier to do margin right. So let's try margin right. And then do last child. not last child. There we go. No, but do like margin right on it globally, then add and say margin right 0. Which one do you like better? This or that? Uh, Off a glance, I think that's the right syntax, Nat. 3 hours. I think the font's a little bit bigger, maybe. This is 12 pixels. What do I have it as here? Have it as 10. We can bump that up. Wrong one. Should be... Alright, I'm going to say that's close enough for now. And I can come back and change spacing at a later point. Or if someone wants to come and clean this up with a PR, I'm cool with that too. Let's add this sidebar. So what's wrong with letting the last child have margin right? You just don't need it. Also, question, should the sidebar be on the left side or should the sidebar be on the right side? Red does right side. I'm kind of feeling right side as well. What if the window gets resized? I was thinking about that. I think what I do is I have the sidebar pop up to the top. In design, the topics are caps. Oh, this is just the... So we have two different designs for what the tags look like. This, which is based off of these. And then Beepo just had, like, he didn't have the same things he used. He just kind of based it off of that. So we can change it if you guys like Beepo's tags better. All right, we can, I don't mind debolding it. UI topic. So we actually have this in our theme. All right, so that's a hover. All right, you guys like this? Let's see, does it remove a little padding maybe? Maybe 0.5? Do you guys like playing with the line height here, or not even bother and keep it like how it is? What was the other thing that I changed? Letter spacing to 0.5. And a little bit more on the side. So padding right. Let's make it 4 pixels. This may be too little. How's that? You think the font size is too small for it? Here's what 10 looks like. I think 10's too big. I think 8's probably what we wanted at. I can compare and see what Reddit's smallest font size is. They have 12 there. And they have 13 there. I think their font in general is a little smaller. Nine. Yeah, doesn't it look kind of weird, like how there's it kind of looks like there's more margin on the top. I mean on the bottom. Or I mean padding per se. So when you say increase top margin, are you talking about padding on the top, or are you talking about space it from the top here? Yeah, exactly what Pater is saying. We don't want it to get too much here. Separate it from the title. Alright, so we don't want to touch the topic then. We want to come over here and touch it from this angle. What happens if I wrap this with a div? Does that mess it up? Because then I can add a margin top on it. And, oops. Instead of a div, I can just call this a box. How's that? Sweet. Close the meta and the title now a slight. Like the same amount, 0.25. I want to say they're not, there's no space between them. So I think the only way for us to affect that is with line height. Let me try negative padding first, because that may be easier. So it brings everything proportionally down. Whoops. -2 pixels. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to go with line height. I'm gonna try doing line height on this guy maybe first. How's that? Too close? Yeah, that's perfect. Use 0.75 rims. Okay. So what that means is we're doing 12 for this. That's going to be R3. I think it looks pretty decent to me. And we can just make this one rim to add those together. And then I just need to add a line height to this. 10 pixels. Alright, when I saved it, I saw it shift a little bit. The only difference is if I do a margin bottom here of 0.75 rims and 0.25 there. There we go. That looks pretty snazzy. All right, should we make any other changes to this before we start on the sidebar? I think if I go over to this page, I can use just like a card and one on the right side. And this is going to be a rebass card. And I think this rebass card is going to be kind of like the same style as the container card, which we set stuff right here. So I'm ready to make this into a reusable component. Yeah, we can see it all overall together. All right, so this is going to be a card. So I call it a big card. I don't know what I want to call this card. It's kind of like a body card. I'm gonna call it a sidebar card. Forgot TSX there. All right, so here we're gonna just call this sidebar card. Now, do I want to just render the rebass card, I think? And we're gonna say children. And then we want to allow them to put in any kind of props on that they want to. So we're going to say dot 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 props at the end. And the props are going to be just card props. And that's going to be coming from Rebas. And now we can export this. Ben, you recommend watching you, or writing code? Yeah, I'm for why not both. So now we can remove this with our sidebar card. I think you need to work on getting 2 mines then. It really speeds up things. Ben, this is a long shot, but would you ever be down to do a collab project where you show me a back end and I'll show you the front end? Yeah, definitely. 22. Hey, Droid. Yeah, my card still shows up. Am I using TypeScript? I sure am. You want to start streaming soon? You should. So now we can use this sidebar card over here too. Gonna do some coding plus some melee. Nice. Here's my sidebar. So now I want to display flex. I assume he's talking about Smash Bros. Alright. We got a little sidebar here. This is a width of 240. So I'm going to have this guy flex should be 1. I don't know if it'll let me pass flex to it. We'll see if it breaks or not. And this should be a flex of 240 pixels. Nice. And now I just need to give them some spacing. I'm down for 40. So I'm going to say margin left, 40 pixels. Or 40 divided by 16, 2.5. There's no thought behind it. I just wanted to give an idea of how the sidebar will allow you to have smaller rows so there's not a bunch of space. I think it looks pretty decent. I'm fine to roll with this. Like, that's a pretty decent, like, setup, I think. But see, for things like this, it should be better to just have a card variant because the sidebar card and the post container cards are the same. So instead of creating separate ones, you just use the same card. Yeah, that's a good idea. I need to get used to creating variants because I'm not used to creating them yet. But yes, I agree. I think that's the way to go. All right, so we basically just need to fill in this sidebar with stuff now. Yeah, it's coming together. How much longer do you think you're going to be working on Code Ponder at least on the MVP? Honestly, no idea. What's kind of left is finishing on this page. We also need to add some kind of uniform design branding coming. Yes, that would help. But from coding wise, there's a general like cleansing of bugs that we will need to do. And we need to make this screen. And I need to make this the screen down here where we see all the questions. And then when I click on a card, this is going to be, we need to clean this up a little bit. Those are kind of the things that are left to do. And I think they can happen relatively quickly, but hard to say. You should reach out to Adam later and get his touch-ups. Yeah, that sounds good. And I think this is a decent progress for tonight. I think I'm going to call quits here. I'm going to go ahead and commit my code, and then we'll call it a night. We can leave this process on, I think. All right, see you, Beepo. See you guys. I'm going to head out.